Are you tired of listening to us talk?
Well, yes.
So occasionally, we're going to ask you some questions.
I'm Mike Pitnero, and I'm captain of the Tuna Chuckers. Our team is comprised of a bunch of mechanical engineers. We all used to work together and decided that we wanted to race lemons together. We have been doing this since 2008, so about 15 years. We've had pretty much the same crew guys on the team as far as drivers go. Matt, McCall, and myself. Ethan joined recently, and we had another guy, Rob, who used to race with us, and he's kind of our team dad right now. He's kind of retired from racing. Back in 2007, I was living in South Carolina. I was working for a company that manufactured train parts. It had nothing to do with cars, but I was really into cars, and I had a subscription to Car and Driver magazine. They did an article called Beaters Rule, and it was their first time racing in lemons. They'd done the first race out in Altamont, out in California. It was super cool, and it got me interested in it, but it was in California, and I was in South Carolina, so I said, well, this isn't gonna work. Later that year, they came out with the 2008 schedule, and lo and behold, there's a South Carolina race on it. So I emailed a bunch of my coworkers and I said, we are so doing this. So that's how we got started racing. So our first lemons car was a Volvo Amazon. We found it on Craigslist. It was $250. We raced that for about 5 years. Our first race out, we won IOE with it, so that was pretty cool. But after that car died, one of our team members, Jamie, his grandfather had just passed away, and he had bought brand new a 1975 Ford LTD, and no one else in the family wanted this car, so he donated it, gifted it to the team. We drove that for a couple of years, and my wife, who is extremely tolerant of us racing and me leaving crap cans scattered all over the yard, she thought the LTD was the ugliest car in the world. So I had this 1950 Plymouth sitting in the yard, and I said, why don't I rebody the LTD with the Plymouth body? And she said, oh yeah, that'd be cool, that'd look neat. So we took about 1.5 years off of racing, and I turned the LTD into the Plymford and mounted this body on it. It made its debut back in 2019. We won Organizer's Choice with it, and we raced it again in Pittsburgh the following year. And somehow, rebodying the LTD with the 1950 Plymouth body fixed all of the mechanical problems that we'd been having with the LTD. While we were still racing the Plymford, I picked up another Volvo Amazon for $250. Stripped the whole car down. I got a B20 out of a 1975 Volvo 240, which was the only year you could get a B20 in the Volvo 240. Brakes were always a problem, so I completely redid the whole braking system. It kind of went a little bit overboard. We got 4-wheel discs. The rotors are from a Mercury Grand Marquis. The calipers are GM metric calipers. The master cylinder's from a Toyota Solara. So it's a dual master cylinder, so it won't blow up like the last one did. We did as much to the car as we could to try to make it as reliable as possible so that we wouldn't spend all of our time wrenching on the car, and we would actually get to spend more time driving the car. We've won something like 11 trophies and 1 steel chicken that we had welded to the roof of the car, which I consider a trophy, even though it was a penalty. I'd have to say the first IOE was of course really special, but the most recent IOE that we won at Thompson, that was really special. We weren't expecting it, and we were just completely blown away. And it was super cool too, because this guy Ethan, his first race, he got to win an IOE with us. He was 6 years old when we won our first IOE back in 2008. So growing of the team and bringing on new members and bringing in a new generation of racers, that was really special about it. 2010 Southern Discomfort Race at CMP. We loaded the car on the trailer, and in the process of loading the car on the trailer, I had this brilliant idea. I said, oh, we should change the oil. So we did the whole oil change and put the car back on the trailer. What I forgot to do was tighten the oil drain plug. I had spun it on by hand. Saturday morning, we get the car on track, and 2 laps in, the car gets dragged in on a rope, and the engine is seized. I get underneath it, and the oil drain plug is missing. Fell out somewhere in the 2.2 miles of CMP's racetrack, and the engine just seized itself. There was a chili cook-off that race, and so we took the valve cover from the engine and we made our chili, and we lined the valve cover with aluminum foil and put the chili in that and presented it to the judges. They loved our presentation, but they hated our chili, so we didn't win the chili cook-off either. The one car that I've always really wanted to do was a French car. French to me kind of like embodies the spirit of lemons. They have this reputation as just really terrible cars. So back in the 1950s, there was a French manufacturer called Simca, and they made this car called the Chambord, which was this awesome little sedan. It kind of looked like a Chrysler 300 if you squinted a little bit and drank too much Bordeaux. Ford owned Simca at the time, and they licensed their flathead V8 to the French, and the French call it the Aquilon for some reason. But they made it 2.4 liters instead of the American engine, which was 221 cubic inches, or like twice the size, because of French tax laws. So they had this teeny tiny little Ford flathead V8 that was like the size of a 4-cylinder basically, and they put it in the Chambord. So it sounded cool, it sounded like a V8, but it had no power. Simca eventually got sold to Chrysler, and they had a Brazilian manufacturing arm. So for a while, Chrysler was actually building flathead Fords in Brazil. So the car that I would want would be a Brazilian-built, Chrysler-owned Simca Chambord with a Ford flathead V8. There's practically none of them left anymore. There's no parts available. Nobody wants them, so they're not worth anything. So that would be my dream Lemons build. We have a couple other Lemons builds in the pipeline. That'll be fun to see what happens with that in the future. And in the meantime, we'll see you out there on the racetrack.
Every second you don't subscribe or watch one of these videos, another Vega is sent to the crusher. Won't you help us save Classic?